Hi, I'm Bob with Wolfe Ridge. Let's go over the features and benefits of the Pro 28C log splitter. So let's start by getting the basic specs on this machine. So this machine starts off with a Honda GX390 gas engine with electric start. Attached to that is a 22 GPM pump, and this has the Magnum big bore package, which used to be an option on the 28C. Now that is standard on the 28C, so that gives you a 6.5 second cycle time, whereas the Pro 28 will just have a 10.5 second cycle time. 28C comes standard with auto cycle and also standard with a log lift. Now compared to a standard Pro 28 Pro, you will see that this has a bigger hydraulic tank on it because it does have the bigger hydraulic pump on it as well as the bigger engine. As I said in the beginning, this one also does have auto cycle. Here's an overhead view of the hydraulic controls. So you can see this far one here would raise the log lift or lower the log lift. This would raise up the wedge height, and this would lower the wedge height. And then here you have your splitter valves. So that'll bring us to the split, and then this one will bring us to the auto return. If you run both of these forward at the same time, the pusher will go all the way to the knife, and as soon as it bottoms out the cylinder, it'll head back home. And when it bottoms out the cylinder again, then the second lever will trip back. Pressure gauge here. Pro 28C gets a push block that is about 12 inches tall, whereas on the 28 Pro, it's about 9 inches tall. Two-way wedge is integrated into the machine. The four-way, you can see, is pinned on right here. And here's the cylinder for the knife height adjustment. It's important to note that the newer production machines do not have these holes anymore on this on the built-in sorting table. Down here you can see that the trailer tongue is slid in for work mode. That way it's not in our way when we're working around the machine. We can remove the pin that's right there, and then we can slide the drawbar all the way forward, and then we can hook it up to the truck or ATV or whatever to move it around the yard. Back here you've got the extra support leg. Now you can take out this support leg here, and you can put the drawbar in this location so you can pull the splitter around the yard that way as well. Engine controls. You have your ignition switch over here. You have throttle control, choke lever, and fuel shutoff. This has an hour meter right here, and you have pull start as well. For transport, we always recommend to turn the fuel off because when these go bouncing down the road, the carburetor can actually overfill with gas, and eventually that can make its way into the crankcase of the engine and essentially flood it and end up diluting your oil with gasoline. So we always recommend to turn the gas off for transport, or if you're going to leave it sit for a while, it's beneficial to put the engine down to idle, shut off this fuel, and let the machine completely run out of gas. The four-way wedge is included with the Pro 28C, and the six-way down here, that's an option. All right, I think we need to start this thing and make some firewood. I'm going to show you a couple of things that you should do before you start it. Make sure that these are not engaged in case somebody bumped them, while the machine was off. Make sure that they're kind of floating like that, and then we'll come down here and we will turn the gas on, turn the choke on, check your throttle position, maybe go like half throttle, and then we will turn it on. Then after it starts running, turn the choke off. Now, depending on how cold it is outside, I would let this run for a while to warm up. You can dry cycle it a few times, get the hydraulic oil warmed up before you really go into production mode. All right, so for this video, I am going to be operating the splitter on this side. I've got the log lift kind of loaded up here already, And this will make some good firewood already. I've got the 4-way on right now. I'll probably switch to the 6-way at some point. One thing I want to point out with a log like this, point the knot or whatever you want to call this up towards the top, and always put the square end or the flush end against the pusher. Instead of trying to put, if there's a diagonal cut, you don't want to put that against the pusher because that's going to make it want to push sideways into your splitting wedge then. That'll make things a little more difficult for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throttle up the engine all the way, and then I'm going to start making some firewood. All right, I'm done making firewood for now. I put the engine speed down to an idle, and I'll usually let it run for a minute or two after that at an idle speed, just because I've always done that with any piece of equipment, and I feel like it's better for it, for the longevity of it. So I'm gonna go shut this thing off now, and then I'll finish showing you a few more things on it. So before we go to transport this thing, I'll pick the log lift up off the ground a little bit. You can see I picked it up probably about 8 inches off the ground. One of the cool things about this design log lift is that it folds up. So there's a pin right here. I'll pull that pin out and set it aside for now. Now this you can close. So we'll flip it up from here and we'll close it, and you can see the 2 pinholes will line up there. And then put this pin back in, and then through here you can put this pin back in. One of the things I personally really like about these splitters is the ease of changing these wedges. You saw me change it in the video a couple of times. Basically, there's one pin here that holds the wedge onto the cylinder. So we pull this pin, slide that out, and then this lifts just straight off. And then I can put the 6-way on, or if I don't want to use anything, I can just run it as a 2-way. Now, the 6-way I could pick up with my left hand while holding the camera. To give you an idea, it's got some weight to it, but it's not unmanageable. You don't need a forklift or a tractor to change your wedges. So let's go over the differences again between the Pro 28 and the 28C. 28C that I've got sitting right here has got the GX390 on it with electric start, 22 gallon per minute pump, the big oil tank on it. You've got a Prince auto cycle valve standard, you've got the Magnum big bore package standard, and you've got the taller push block. Now, the difference in cycle time between this and a 28 Pro, this you're looking at about 6.5 seconds. 28 Pro, you're looking at about 10.5 seconds. The 28 Pro, you can put the auto cycle on if you'd like, but that's about where it stops. You can't do the bigger pump, you can't do the Magnum package, you can't do the bigger engine, that stuff. So that's something to consider when you're looking at the difference between the 28 Pro and the 28C. 28C lands kind of right in the middle of the Wolfe Ridge lineup and really packs a lot of features, a great value for the money. So that's going to do it for this walk around video with the 28C. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to try to get around to doing this with every machine that we make. And if there's one that you want to see in specific, please let us know in the comments section. I'll try to bump that to the front as things get built. If you want to get a piece of Wolfe Ridge equipment for yourself, please check out our website. All pricing, lead times, options, everything's there. www.wolferidgemfg.com. You can give us a call as well or send us an email. I'll put that information at the end of the video here and in the description as well. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.